This is the second in a series of tutorials on how to use the ML64 SDK. Today we're going to be looking at the anatomy of a mod. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is modloader64-n, and this will create our basic mod structure. Second thing that we are going to do for this tutorial is we're going to install a template. This template is from here. It's the OOT plugin template, so we're just going to install that. Now, the last thing we're going to do for the setup is we're going to do -t OOT plugin template to use that template. Now we're going to open this project in Visual Studio Code. If you don't have Visual Studio Code, I highly recommend it for making mods. Now let's go over the actual file structure of a mod. The first thing that's important is inside your source folder, if you named your folder tutorial, source tutorial package.json. This is the first important file. This file will tell your mod how to load and what game it should belong to. So here it's set to core Ocarina of Time. So this is going to be an OOT mod. We'll come back to this file in just a moment. So this is our main mod file. This is where the code we're going to be running. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this and hit rename. I'm going to rename it tutorial. I'm also going to click on OOT plugin template right here, right click, hit rename symbol, change it to tutorial. Now we're going to go back to our package.json and change this index to say tutorial. And that will just ensure that the mod loads properly. Now inside the mod class, which is right here, we have a few things. We have ModLoader API, which is where you're going to get the majority of your functionality for ModLoader. Plugin name, it's not terribly important. The ModLoader will set that for you. Then you have inject core and the core. Inject core is what we call a decorator. What decorators do is allows ModLoader to inject things into your mod. So this is injecting a core. And our core is IoT core, which is the accessor for OOT related data. Now we have these three methods. The first is pre-init. This fires once during startup, right at the beginning, as soon as your mod's loaded. Init fires once during startup after we've connected to the server. Post-init fires once during startup when the emulator has opened. And then ontick fires once every frame during gameplay. Ontick is going to be where the main bulk of your logic is built up because you're obviously going to want to interact with the game as it's running. So we're going to just put in, we're going to use the logger for modloader. So this .modloader.logger.info, this is going to write to the console. We're just going to put a few of these in each of these so that you can see when they run. Now we're going to do modloader64 BR to do a build and run. And you will see the messages that we just wrote are going to appear in the console as the game starts up. So if we scroll up here, you can see here's our plugin that just loaded, named tutorial. Here's where our pre-init happened. Then ModLoader went through the networking setup, we joined a lobby, and then init happened. We set up Moopin, set up all the controller stuff. Then down here, post-init happened, and the emulator is open. So it gives you an idea of when these functions actually fire. Now as for onTick, this one should be fairly obvious in that it fires on the frame tick. So every single frame you will see this function fire. And keep in mind, things like screen fade-outs, loading screens, that kind of thing don't count, so you won't see it tick during that. See, like right here, it froze when the screen was black. It's because the game is no longer drawing frames. Alright, so this is the very basic anatomy of a mod. The next tutorial we will cover basic core usage and API usage, and how to read and write memory and that sort of thing.